In my last video, I bought a 1999 Ford E350 wheeled coach ambulance, and it's pretty cool. I love it, but I realized I needed something bigger. Yeah, buddy, this here is a 2010 International built by Horton. Now this is a full-size diesel rig. I needed something for towing, and I needed something that was strong enough to do what I wanted to do. I wanted something bigger, something that I could stand up in, something that I could put a full bathroom in, make into an RV camper, and capable of pulling my big 32-foot long trailer. I've always wanted a big truck like this, and this is an International Durastar 4300. You've seen these trucks everywhere. You see tow trucks, dump trucks, water tankers, tractor trailers. You see these everywhere. I've always wanted one. Now I have one. So a little history on this thing. It used to belong to the Fall River Fire Department in Massachusetts. It's built by Horton. I managed to find the original photo on Horton's Facebook of when they built this thing, and photos of the Fall River Fire Department using it. And then they, in 2017, they turned it into their dive rescue truck, and they were using it for dive rescue. It only has like 136,000 miles, has about 15,000 total run hours, 8,000 PTO hours. So for a motor, it's capable of over 500,000 miles before it has to be refleeved. I think it's in pretty good shape. I've been driving this thing around and I enjoy it. It's really not that hard to drive. It's pretty nimble, and it's really not that big as compared to driving like my 40-foot Prevost bus. So even though it's kind of a big truck, it only has the 19.5-inch wheels. So it's really not that big. It's not quite like driving, you know, a tractor trailer, and you can almost fit it into a regular parking space. I mean, it's not crazy bigger than my Excursion, and you know, I'm used to driving big rigs, and I've always wanted one of these, and I really want to show you how some of this is done on the inside, because the reason I'm doing a camper out of an ambulance is that they just don't build vehicles like they build ambulances. As I showed you in the previous video, which I'll link at the end of this, when they torture test one of these and they flip it over, you can see that, I mean, this thing rolls over up onto its head, and it really doesn't do anything to it. It doesn't bother it at all. It doesn't even piss it off. Matter of fact, this particular unit, being 10 years newer than the other one, has built-in side restraint airbags even in the back. This thing is a pretty high-tech unit for only being, you know, a little over 10 years old. And well, I guess coming up on 12 years old, starting next year. So I like to say 10. It makes me feel like it's not as old. This thing is sweet. You know what else is cool? Las Vegas Fire Department uses the exact same units that are driving around, same color and everything, except they do red with gold. This one's red and white. I'm gonna polish and buff it out, and I'm just gonna leave it red and white. You know how I love red. Storage on this thing is absolutely sick. Of course, this is your oxygen tank area. There would normally be a hoist in here. This actually had a rig to run it up and down, so for loading the bottles and things. They took that out. This is a nice big spot. I mean, you can get in there and stand up. Much bigger than the other one. Now, in this area here is where they had the power inverter. The inverter is gone. The inverter was here, they took it out. Normally they put in a 1,000-watt vanner, which was put in here. I have a 3,000-watt version I'm going to stick in here. You got your breaker, you got your vacuum pump, all that stuff still works. This thing actually had an automatic tire change. I'm not going to need that in Vegas. But nice and sturdy area. I haven't decided what I'm going to put in here. More storage over here. Again, just a nice big box you can put anything in. A lot of people end up cutting these out, but I mean, there's so much room in here, you can really kind of do anything you want. Another thing cool about this particular unit being so much newer, has a universal locking system. I can lock the door in there, it locks all of these cabinets at the same time. That older 99 didn't do that. Now this large area here I'm gonna make into the bathroom. There used to be a divider here and a bunch of shelves. So what I'm gonna end up doing here is I'm gonna cut a door there. I'm gonna have a raised floor with a black tank, and I'm gonna put a toilet in here, and then I'll permanently kind of lock this door. That'd be embarrassing, like if you're in there pooping and somebody opened this door and you're just in there like, hi, Just like over there in the 99, there's this little door here, but this doesn't hold batteries. It's just a compartment. The batteries for this rig are actually on the other side where this other 50-gallon tank would be. It's just a nice place you could put batteries in there. I could fit 3 full-size batteries in there. I might do that. But it's also a great place for me to put like a jack, you know, like a full-size jack, things like that. You know, I don't really need a jack because I am not going to be changing the tires on this thing. I'll be calling like a Love's Mobile Truck Service to come change the tire. But I could put something in there. It's heavy duty. And of course, this is the entrance that goes inside. And well, we're gonna go inside and I'll give you a tour in there. Before we go inside, I'll give you a quick tour of the back. I'm planning on adding a hitch to this thing. As you know, I want to use it for towing. Now, this is an International Durastar 4300. It is capable of over like 66,000 pounds of towing. This rig weighs 15,000 pounds with another 5,000 pounds of capable weight of a 20,000 pound gross vehicle weight. I can put 5,000 pounds inside this thing and it wouldn't care. I could park like that van over there on the roof and it wouldn't give a shit. Let's open up the door here. Now we've already begun a little bit of deconstruction in here, so kind of ahead of the thing. But I want to show you a really cool party trick that this unit has that the other one doesn't have. Of course, it rides on airbags, and when you want to lower the vehicle to make it easy to get in, of course, you know, when you would raise that up, make it easier to put your striker cot in, your gurney, and you can get in a little easier. This thing's pretty sweet. Let's go in and check it out. All right, like I said, we've already started a little deconstruction here. We're starting to take this wall out. And, you know I said in my previous video, I kind of don't like it when people gut these things, but we're not necessarily gutting it. We're just changing some things around. This wall needed to be kind of removed because we needed to move these electrical outlets up. What we're going to do is I'm going to take out this seating area, which lifts up, and there's quite a bit of storage under there, which is pretty amazing. I'm going to put a 30-inch custom-made mattress. So it's 30 by 75 trucker bunk, basically. But it's a 10-inch thick foam mattress. It's going to be comfortable. So it's going to come out to here. We're going to put some legs on it. You'll still be able to fold this up and get up under there. I wanted to be able to move these outlets up taller with a shelf so that when you're laying in bed, you'll have access to all those things. Plus, this backboard was just covered in like holes from all these mountings where there were seat belts and oxygen and all these other things. So I'm going to either just recover this, maybe with a piece of FRP or something, or maybe something I'll have done vinyl-wise, and that'll all be together. But we'll figure it out, and it's pretty cool. We're also going to put some appliances in here, so I'll bring you in a little closer so you can see some of the other drawers. One major downside to this particular unit compared to the other one is there's no pass-through. I can't get to the cab from in here. That kind of sucks. That means I got to get out of the cab, come around and get in here when I'm ready to go to bed for the night or whatever. That sucks. That's one of the bummers with having a class 1 of these big rigs. And I have seen some of them with pass-throughs, but that's pretty rare. Besides which, there's a huge center console in there you'd have to climb over. I don't think I'd be able to climb through there anyway. What I'm going to do, though, is I am going to hook up a remote ignition system that we're going to bring back here. You know, all the electronics and stuff, all these modules, you got all these relay modules here. There's more electronics in here. There's more stuff in here. I love this little drawer. This is going to be great for putting my silverware and things in there. But you're already wired for electricity. You're already wired for air conditioning. This whole unit here and under the seat is heat and air conditioning. There's this huge bunch of cabinets here. I can put a refrigerator in there. There's already electricity in there. There's already 12 volts in there. These shelves are completely adjustable. Another big rack, you know, I can put clothes in here, food pantry, whatever I want. I mean, these things are just so well built. They're made out of a combination. I'm going to show you how these are made. It's not only aluminum. You have this like Formica sandwiched aluminum foam core material that they use that you just couldn't literally, I mean, it's built like the space shuttle. You could not build it any better. This seat could be removed, but I've decided I'm going to keep it there because it's a nice place to sit. First of all, this is a very safe seat. I mean, not only does it have a seatbelt, there is a side restraint. There's an airbag right here next to it that pops out a curtain in case there is some kind of an accident. So, you know, if somebody wants to ride with me and they want to sit back here, this is a safe place that they could sit. All these controls and everything still work. But we're starting to get ready to rewire it, and I'm going to show you some of the ideas that I have. And you might want to follow along if you're into this kind of van life stuff. So going back to this thing, what I'm planning to do is we're going to unhook this bench right at the hinge, extend this out with a piece of like 3/4 decking or something like that with a ledge along there. But there's all this room under here, and I was thinking I could put 3 batteries there, 3 batteries there. I could put another 3 batteries there, inverter, chargers. So if I want to go off grid with this thing, I would have the ability to put in easily 8, 10, or as many batteries as I want to put in. But I don't really need to go off grid with it. I'm not going to be living in it. I'm only going to stay in it like overnight. So I could just leave it running. It only cost me like 30, 40 bucks to leave it running overnight. And that's what they do. They just let these things idle all day or all night. Over here we still have controls for stuff. You know, I can operate the air conditioning, heater. I can adjust these lights on and off. There's a lot of other things in here I don't need, like for instance the patient status. Patient status is red. I have oxygen. I don't know, what can I use this vacuum for? I've been trying to think of another use for this vacuum. Probably not going to use that. Oh, here's a thing called a bar light. I have a stopwatch so I can time things. There's even a big clock up on the wall back there. But there's already electricity and everything here. That's what's so great. I mean, these cabinets, the way they're made, you could not build better stuff than this yourself. And the way these are designed, a lot of people don't, it took me a minute to realize this. You know, yeah, you can close this, but check this out. You can unlatch this and the whole thing opens up and you have full access. So like I've already removed the shelf out of there. Thinking about putting my microwave up in here. You know, we're gonna have a microwave, a sink, all kinds of stuff. I know it's kind of a mess in here already. You know, I was too impatient. I didn't get a chance to make it the video before we started ripping it apart. We're gonna put a basin sink right here. Now I know there's electrical here, but we may move these or cap them off. But I got this sink that I'm gonna put here that fits exactly in this little 15-inch square, but it's a basin sink that sits above, and it'll be here and it'll go right down through. I have access to under the sink here, but that also goes under into this cabinet area here. So I'm going to put the sink there, and what I did was I bought a little instant hot water thing. So I'm not going to have like a water heater, but what it is it's a little small thing that you put in your sink for making like a hot cup of soup. So it only holds like, you know, a little bit of water at boiling temperature, but you can turn the temperature down. I'm only going to use this sink for like washing my hands or rinsing off a fork or a plate or something. I'm not going to be taking showers in here. I'm not going to be drinking the water. So I just want to be able to wash my hands with nice warm hot water and maybe wash get some cheese on a fork from some macaroni and cheese. You need hot water to get it off. So I want a little hot water sink. And also you have to have a sink with running water in order to qualify as an RV. Now this little seat here, which is a jump seat we talked about in the last videos, I think they call it a CPR seat where you can sit here and tend to the patient. I'm going to remove some of this. I'm either going to put the refrigerator here or maybe make a countertop or a cabinet that goes across here. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with this. Maybe in the comments give me your opinions of what I should do here. But think about this. I've got electricity nearby. I can have a refrigerator fit right in here perfectly. And it'll fit. It'll be great. Okay, well as I mentioned, I want to make this the bathroom. So I'm either going to completely remove this wall or cut it out, but I want to put in a door or maybe a curtain. But I want to maintain the look of the ambulance because I still want it to look like an ambulance inside and out without changing it too much. So, but there's enough room for a person to sit down in here. So I'm going to put the toilet in there facing this way. So I'd be sitting this way inside the little cabinet. And then put a door that goes in. And I might make the door where you kind of have to step over this ledge, which is kind of inconvenient, but at least it would look a little bit more stock. And you'd be able to, have a kind of a hidden bathroom. And anything I can do to kind of keep it separate from me and where I'm sleeping. I don't want to smell poo while I'm sleeping. Okay, this is what I wanted to talk about. Look at how they build these walls. You have like a formica glued to like an aluminum, with then a corrugated plastic, and then a 1/2-inch super dense foam. Then you have an 1/8 inch of aluminum on the other side of that, and then they rhino linered the other side of this. But I mean, this is amazing material. This is designed so that it won't ever rust. It's antimicrobial, and it's insulated to death. There's no RV made this way. Nothing is made this way. So if you're trying to build yourself a camper, this is why these are the best. I mean, it's heavy, yes, but the insulation, the protection, it's antimicrobial, anti-mold. Look at it, it's indestructible. I mean, trying to cut through this is very difficult. All right, let's put this back into driving position. Just hit that button. And the vehicle rises back into its normal upright position. How cool is that? Another great thing about that, not only makes it easy to get in and out, but when you're parked for the night and you're sitting down on the frame and you're moving around, you don't have the thing wobbling around, and it's not going to wobble in the wind either. Well, this thing's not wobbling in the wind. I mean, unless there's like a tornado. All right, let's crawl up into this bitch. Now, once you're seated inside, you have this cool little air seat. And just like the truck, it raises your fat ass up into driving position and gives you a nice cushy ride as you're rolling down the road. Now, this steering wheel and this whole thing can move forward and aft, up and down. It's controllable. You have cruise control functions on here, windows, mirrors. It's an automatic with a regular old shifter, like a regular old whatever. Regular old air conditioning controls, got a nice stereo. Couple of truck related things, something called a park regen, which is for cleaning the particulate filter. We won't go into that. But basically, it's just like a pickup truck. You got a few extra gauges here. You know, you got your trans temperature. You don't want your trans getting hot. They hate that. Anyway, you got oil pressure, water, full fuel, your air pressure, voltage. But these are pretty standard things that you'd find on a truck. And then you have this control panel here. I still have the original siren and the radios. I can, you know, I can get on this PA thing here. You probably won't be able to hear it through the microphone, but I could speak through the PA. Yeah, we don't want to. I really don't want to upset the neighbors, but it still has all the little controls, you know, like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to piss off the neighbors. But it has all the sirens. It has the yelps. It has the wails. It has that horn. The air horns on this thing will make you jump out of your gosh darn shoes. They're all here. Check out this thing. This is cool. It's a stream light. This is a fireman flashlight that you mount onto the front of your outfit. It's rechargeable, has a base here, and it locks into place. It's a full-blown fire department rig. And this control panel is sick. I mean, you've got all these controls, all the lights work, all the flashing lights still work. Are they legal? No! You are not supposed to use these while going down the road. But here's the great thing. All the lenses on this thing are clear. You're not allowed to have red or blue or colored lights, anything other than clear or amber on your vehicle, on the front of your vehicle, right? So long as you don't turn them on, you can have them there. You just can't use them on a public roadway. But in a private area, you can turn on all the colored lights you want. Doesn't matter. I'm at my house. They can't do anything to me for that. I mean, legally, I can turn the siren on and have all the lights on, and it's just annoying. I don't want to piss off the neighbors. But I talk about this with my DeLorean time machines. If you're just now watching this and you don't know who I am, I build replica movie cars, and one of the cars that we build is the DeLorean time machine from Back to the Future, and I've always maintained that the lights on the car are white, and I always see a lot of other people do them in blue. The reason I do them in white is, number one, that's how they were in the movie. Number two, they're perfectly legal to drive around with. You put blue lights on your car and you turn them on, it's a $5,000 fine. Just saying. Anyway, control panel is super cool, tells you your voltage, tells you all kinds of things. I put this little cup holder rig in here. But yeah, I mean, it's still a full-blown, fully functional ambulance. Now, I plan on putting a screen here that's going to have 4 cameras. A camera up high in the back, camera down low by the hitch, camera at the very front of the vehicle for pulling up and parking, and then one on my right side for getting the blind spot over there. Because if there's some little tiny car next to me, I may not be able to see them. And why this thing didn't have those on it in the first place, beyond me. It's crazy. GT466, the Max Force 6-cylinder. This is a legendary engine. They've been making this thing for like 40 years. It's had a couple of revisions. The turbo, it's badass. I don't have all the specs, you can look it up. But it doesn't have any problem getting down the road. And you have easy access to everything. This is a great motor. I'm really happy about this truck. All right guys, that's just a little teaser on this thing. I just wanted to show this thing off. I've been dying to show it to you guys for a while. If you're into this kind of thing, you might want to subscribe because we're going to be doing a lot of cool work to this thing. We're going to be putting in the camera system, putting in the bathroom, putting in the inverter, probably putting in a diesel heater kit, and then we'll probably do some solar panels, lithium-ion batteries, and all that cool stuff as we go along. And then maybe doing a little hot rod into it too, you know, adding on some little tuner chip to it, doing the hitch, seeing how much we can pull with it, and traveling with it, going back and forth from here in Las Vegas to my shop in Dallas. This thing's going to be a lot of fun. Now I still have the 99, and actually a guy from Alaska is buying it from me. He's going to be doing the same thing with it, turning it into his little camper. And we're fixing the oil leak and other things for him before he takes it. So if you were wondering what's happened with that, it's already sold, unfortunately. It's kind of a long story, you know, I kind of touched on it a little bit. I was interested in this rig originally. And I had emailed the guy, and he hadn't gotten back to me. And then I went and looked at that 99, and there was like 2 or 3 other people looking at it. I got all excited. I went ahead and offered the guy a cash deal, and I took it home. And I loved it. But then this guy got back to me, and he said, I said, well, where's the truck? And he goes, well, I'm in Vegas. I go, well, I'm in Vegas. And he was just down the street from me. And I went over there and I looked at it and I said, dude, I'll take it. So I knew I could sell that other truck. I flipped it in like 1 day. It took me no time to get rid of it. I got this thing and I'm very, very happy with it. I have always wanted a full size, I think they call this a class 5. I've always wanted a full size rig. And now I have one. And here's the thing. If I really wanted to, I could just take the box off and use it as a truck, make it into a tow truck, a car hauler, anything I want. But this thing has the excess power and the ability and the agility to go ahead and pull a car trailer. I can drive this thing, it's an over-the-road truck. I can drive it all the way back and forth from here to Texas whenever I want. I can sleep in it. And here's the deal, like I was talking about with the other ambulance. Nobody's gonna mess with you. Nobody's gonna knock on the window and tell you to move. Nobody's gonna say, hey, you can't park here, right? Look at this thing. Look at it. I'm so excited. Yeah, I love this stuff. Hey, if you love it too, make sure to subscribe to me. I'm Videobob.